Shang Chi is top 5 MCU. And I have 5 reasons that might make you say, you know what? He isn't wrong. Wrong, you know what I mean, but let's get going. What is up, y'all? It is your Normie Sensei Master Cut here with Normies to Nerds, where we take Normies and turn them into nerds here in our dojo. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel because we are on the road to 250 subs. So let this be a spoiler warning in this first sentence to say, Shang-Chi completely blew my mind away. And for me, it is no doubt in my top 5 in the MCU. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead with these 5 reasons, and I'm gonna save the best and most important reason for last. Reason number 1 for me is the all-out action. This movie was absolutely action-packed, especially in the first 45 minutes of the film. We got a lot of fight scenes and a lot of good action there. I mean, literally, in the first 45 minutes when I was sitting there in the movie theater, I counted 5 fight scenes that went down, and each one of them were epic and beautiful in a different style. I mean, really, we hadn't gotten that much action in the opening scenes of a movie since maybe Infinity War with the back-to-back-to-back-to-back fights. So let's go through these fights. You have the Wolverine Fight where he's making his ascension into power, where you first see the 10 rings in use. Then you go to Wu Wen versus Zhao Ling and that mystical garden leading into Ta Lao. And then you go to the bus scene where you get that epic fight, what many people are calling their favorite fight scene of the movie. That epic fight there on that bus scene. And then you get to the blood sport, which really brings another hard-hitting element, as well as getting to see Wong and Abomination. And then the scaffold scene, where you have, again, that beautiful masterpiece of cinematography and Kung Fu combined together to really add up to a scene to show just how powerful not only Shang-Chi is, but his sister as well. Reason number 2, for me, is the actors. Everyone killed their role. I mean, even Awkwafina, while I didn't really like her character, she killed the role that she was given. So I think everyone really played their role to a perfection, and you really felt like they belonged in their role in that movie. And Simu Lee's acting was spot on. When he needed to be American, when he was in America, you felt that. Like, you felt like he was a Chinese American, and you felt like he was just a normal dude. But then when he needed to turn on the switch, when he needed to go savage mode, especially in that final scene in the back half of the movie, you felt the weight of his presence. He wasn't too corny. He wasn't too quippy. He was just right. And especially in that final fight scene.
Is this what you wanted?
It was perfect. Point number 3, the plot. Now, many thought going into this movie that it would be a fight, all-out blood sport tournament for the rings. And that was mainly due to some leaks and speculation that it came out early when things were rolling out about this movie. And it was also intensified when we got the trailer of that blood sport tournament there with Wong and Abomination. But they really turned it up over top of our heads. When it comes to this plot element, it's one of the best plots to me in the MCU, especially for a standalone solo movie. Because one element of the story that I never thought that we would get was that Wenwu element of someone who had all of the power, find the love of his life, willing to give that power away, raise his family, raise his kids, only to have the love of his life be killed and lost and to send him down the road of destruction and back to power. To me, that was just a beautiful way to make this make sense and to add up the climax and the tension. And yeah, at the end of the day, Wenwu came back to that family essence. And to bring all of that story to really show Wenwu's development and to really make that a family love story there was completely epic to me. And I loved every single moment of that story. And number 4 is the Kung Fu elements. Look, I am a Kung Fu movie fan. And we got like 4 different types of Kung Fu movies in one. I mean, at the very beginning, we got the first kind of style of Kung Fu movies when it came in with the Zhao Ling and Wenwu fight, which was that kind of graceful element of the Kung Fu side of things. Really reminded me of Ip Man and how like he really lets the grace kind of dictate how he fights and how he wins fights there. And to me, the cinematography there was beautiful. That is that one type of Kung Fu element. Going into the bus scene where we get the American side of Kung Fu, when you're thinking about movies that involve Jackie Chan, when you think about movies like Rush Hour, the kind of practical slapstick Kung Fu fighting, we got that. And then going into the blood sport type of element, where we saw the tournament going on, it really just kind of reminded me a little bit of the Jet Li's fearless movie when it came to that blood sport type of battles. And really, to me, that was a big homage to the Kung Fu genre and industry, as well as the plot. Like I said, when you come back to the plot, at the base of it, it really is a Kung Fu movie when it comes to somebody dealing with grief. That is something that we deal with a lot in Kung Fu movies, and they really did a great job of paying homage to that. Also as well to the Chinese culture, not just in America, but in China as well. For my eyes, they really played a good role there, balancing that out and honoring both sides of the culture. And the last, but not least, reason of why this movie is top 5 MCU is the final fight scene. Now, I know some people are really down on it. Some people aren't really feeling the dragons and the graphics there. But bruh, did you see how those dragons were fighting and what that thing actually looked like? Because to me, I can think of a way to put a dragon on screen any better than that. Like, it felt like I was really watching a dragon to me. And the thrill of that final fight scene. So where you just thought it would just be a one-on-one fight until he unleashes some of those soul suckers from the dark dimension, that just added a whole nother level to it of, wow, how are they going to beat these folks? So for me, the final fight scene was epic because, you know, when you're watching an MCU movie, that Shang Chi is really going to come out on top. But you really had to at one point wonder how much he was going to lose. He lost his father during the fight. And it was at one point I was curious to see if he was really going to lose his sister or to appear to have lost his sister during the fight as well. And to me, like everything, the stakes were high to me during that fight. Because when the Dweller in Darkness was sucking out the soul of the Great Protector, I was really wondering, like, wow, is Shang-Chi really going to have to defeat the Dweller in Darkness by himself? It really kept me on edge. And even though Awkwafina kind of bailed them out, honestly, that Katie character still didn't make all that much sense to me of how she could shoot that arrow the way that she did. It just flowed, and I was able to overlook that because of the action and everything that I saw there. And then at the very end, when Shang-Chi was killing the Dweller in Darkness with the 10 rings, that was epic. Like, it was one of the most beautiful things I've actually honestly seen in the MCU, and I'm just completely in awe of what they did there. Now, if you want to talk about top 5 MCU before this film, it was for me Avengers Infinity War, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Thor Ragnarok, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. And honestly, to me, this movie might bump down Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 out of the top 5. But look, here's the beautiful thing about the MCU. You have so many properties and so many films that everybody's top 5 is different. There's no one set top 5, but for me, I feel like Shang-Chi definitely deserves to be in the conversation of top 5, and if not, a lock for any top 10 list movie in the MCU. I give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. But look, we're going to be going in and having much more discussion here in the dojo on the channel. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the video. We stream 4 nights a week here. I would love to have you guys come back through the live stream where we're going to be talking more and more about Shang-Chi, as well as what happened in that post-credit scene. I am your Normie Sensei Master Country Normies to Nerds. Go watch something nerdy, share it with a friend, make them a normie, and bring them here, and we'll turn them into nerds. I'll see you guys on the next video.